What's going on, everyone? I'm just an average American here today to react and learn about public schools in Canada. Now, all I can talk about public schools is my experience with public school in America. I did go to public school throughout my entire education in America until university, which you pay for and is not really considered a public school. And when I think about public school in America, I think it's okay. It's all right. I think like what is probably the case in Canada is public school can be quite hit or miss. On average, it's good. It's funded by the government. Now, one of the things that's going on in America that is a humongous issue, and truthfully, a real issue, is that teachers in public schools are not paid well at all. They're paid horribly, actually, for one of the most important jobs one could ever have, teaching the future of the country. So it's kind of strange that the ones we're trusting to teach and care for our children on a day-to-day basis and get them ready to inherit the country as the next generation, we're not paying them well, which is very strange to me in America. I don't know if that's the case in Canada. I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but since it's kind of related, there you go. I am interested to just get a general sense of what public school is like in Canada. Like I was trying to say earlier, you get fantastic teachers. You get teachers that are just kind of there. You get interesting experiences being with just the general public in school. Private schools, America has private schools where you can get your education throughout your entire elementary school, middle school, and high school. You could do it privately. Your parents pay for it. It's considered more prestigious, more selective. You're with certain people. But I think there's a lot of benefit to being in a public school because you get a lot of real world experience, you know? Some bad, a lot of good, and it gets the job done. Look at me now. I turned out okay, I guess. So I am interested to see what's it like in Canada? Is it different? Is it the same? What?
Hi guys. Today I want to tell you about schools in Canada and how it works, how you can put your kids in the school, when you have to apply and when you have to send all documents.
Okay.
How it works. In Canada, kids can go to school when they are 4 years old.
4 years old. I think that's around. Oh gosh, I'm not good at this stuff. That sounds about right when an American kid would go to kindergarten the very first time they'd be in a public school. Yeah.
Sometimes you can keep them at home.
Oh, yeah, homeschooling is a whole different thing. I'm sure that exists in Canada, where if you just don't want your child to go to school, you just want to. The parent becomes the teacher, and they are given educational materials, tests, and exams to basically teach their child at home for their whole life or part of their life or whatever they want. That's totally a thing. I've known some other kids who were homeschooled when I was younger. Yeah.
For 1 year, and then you have to send them to school which
Oh, you can do it for 1 year?
for sometimes you can keep them at home for 1 year, and then you have to send them to school which belongs to your
Oh, I don't know why you would do that. Just keep them out for 1 year and then send them to school. It seems like you'd want to get them used to it as early as possible, probably.
district where you live. So every single address related to some schools. You can send your child to another school or to another town or another part of your city, let's say.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly how it works in America. You live in a certain area and your address basically corresponds to some kind of public school near you, and there's a bus system where school buses know to come by your address, or somewhere near your address. That's a whole fun thing, getting to run off to the bus stop when you're a kid and catch the bus. And it's based on where you live. But if you want, you could take your child to a different public school if you thought it was better or something. You could you'd have to drive them there, I suppose, but it's very similar.
That's why people choose carefully where they want to buy a house or
Yes, exactly.
where they want to rent it out.
Yes, yes. People in America are very much thinking when they buy a home, well, this is going to determine where my child goes to school. And now you can hop on Google and stuff and Google the schools nearby and get their rating and all that stuff parents are obsessed with for good reason. You want to know, but where you live matters because it determines where your child is going to be educated.
Because of schools, we have a website where you can check ratings for the schools, and it's very important. The higher rank the school has, the higher level of education they will get. And sometimes some schools they use the programs from university, and people from the school, they can go to university with no exams.
Oh yeah, that is true. If your school system did have some kind of relationship with a college or university or an advanced education program or something that you really wanted to have that opportunity available to your child, that would be a good reason to want to go to that school, for instance.
We have few schools in Richmond Hill. They are one of the best in the area, in the GTA. And you have to choose carefully where you want to live when you come in here. Public schools, they are absolutely free. You have no payments, no obligations. All you have to bring your child, and you have to buy a backpack for him. And
yeah, this is exactly the same as in America. It's fantastic. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. This is one of the things America has gotten right and has not changed, is that public school education is free to everyone. You just have to make sure they get on the bus, get to school, and I mean, you do have to pay for their school supplies, although there are ways where if you really needed help, I think the government would help you get school supplies, and you have to pay for their lunch at school, which is like a few dollars a day. But if you couldn't, again, I think there are public systems in America where you could get your child lunch to make sure they can eat. So that's one of the most, I'm so glad it is like this, thank goodness. Every child in America should be given this level playing field of at least you can go and have a public education for 12 years for free. Just show up and you'll get it. And then you will have access to opportunities in life in America. That's the theory anyway. So I'm glad it is at least like that, even though the teachers are not paid well, which is strange.
And also you have to bring lunches to school. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for anything. Schools are open approximately 8 to 9. Usually it's 8:30, and they
8 to 9 a.m.? Gosh, I swear the schools in America start at like 7 a.m. or something. I remember having to get up at 6 a.m. and get ready and go to the bus stop. I swear, I never understood it, but in America, you get out of public school at like 3 o'clock or something, which is actually really nice because you can do after-school activities, sports. You still have a large part of the day available, so let's make the kids get up, whatever, as long as it's not me. I paid my dues. I got up at 6 a.m. for 12 years and went to school, so they have to too. That's what
it works until 3 to 4, depending on the area in the school.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
So technically, if you work in parent, your working hours 9 to 5 usually, you have to find program or babysitting for before and after school.
Yeah, man, this is bringing back memories. I used to get home from school, and it'd be about 3 or 4, and I'd have to have a key or something, and sometimes I accidentally locked myself out of the house. Or have a code to open your garage up or something. Yeah, man, good times.
and you have to pay for this. Some schools they have rooms, so they have daycare
Hmm.
in their facilities. So you have to pay for this program. Usually, you have to apply for the school starting in January, maybe February of the year, and
Oh gosh, I don't know anything about all this, having to apply to schools and all that. But it makes sense. I assume it's roughly the same.
how it works in the school. Can go, let's say kids, we're talking about junior kindergarten right now.
Uh-huh.
They can accept kids who will be 4 years old by the calendar end of the year, by December 31st. Even if your kid will be 4 in December 30th, you can send them to school.
Yeah, it's funny how this works because I know I've heard other Americans talk about, well, you can time it certain ways where your child will go into kindergarten and start out like as the youngest possible, you know? Or by the time kindergarten comes around, they can almost be 5 years old, so they will be. But basically, if you want your child to be one of the oldest in the grade or one of the very youngest possible, you can kind of tinker with the application dates a little, I think.
So technically, your kid won't be 4 when school started, and
Yeah.
school started here, by the way, first Monday of September. It's not
Uh-huh.
September 1st like in some countries. It's first Monday in September, and even sometimes Monday could be long weekend. Uh, so you can send kids on a Tuesday. And when you
Look at these buses, man. That's one thing that I don't think changes in North America, no matter where you are. A school bus, a yellow school bus, is just a school bus. It should be one of the symbols of North America because a school bus is just a school bus. It always looks the same.
get application package, you can apply for school bus if you live outside of the area of the walking distance, or if you don't have a
Ah,
car and you need some help with the school buses.
huh.
Sometimes they have some small fees for the bus, but they affordable. They like $40 or something a year. Sometimes I don't know, honestly. We never order school bus because we live pretty close to school, and usually we drop them off there before school.
Yeah, there have been times in my life where I could. Mostly I took the school bus, and my God, I never really had a car until I was outside of high school. I was always taking the dang school bus. Oh my goodness. Uh, and this was before cell phones, smartphones were really a thing, so there was not any entertainment. Imagine that. But there were times in my life where I lived a little closer to school and you could walk if you want. So, yeah.
But you can find out this information on the website. Each school they have a website, and they have parental access to this website, so you have your own login and password, so you can always go there and check.
Hmm.
Our kids, my older one, she's in
Yeah, there's probably a lot more online stuff in regards to public school, like parents being able to log into the school's website and stuff, that I'm not familiar with because my parents, the websites that existed when I was in public school for my parents were almost non existent, hardly used, just for information, barely. But now, in 2022, we're in the future, right? So I can only imagine what kind of technology they have adapted and incorporated into classrooms and parents and all sorts of stuff. It's great.
kindergarten right now. She's going to grade 1 next year. It's an elementary school, so we don't have much activities there because it's kindergarten. They learn a lot of stuff, but it's not like serious stuff with homework or something like that. It's very simple stuff.
Uh huh.
So in my profile, in my cabinet, you can call it in any way, when I put my credentials there, I cannot see much activity except their schedule for the months and
Okay.
some PA days.
I mean, but it still is cool that you can log in and look at what your child is doing on the calendar. At least that's cool.
It's a day when kids usually at home, because teachers, I don't know what they have some sort of activities. They have to get together, discuss some problems or some, I don't know, they have their own agenda. Sometimes public schools, they have French immersion classes. What does it mean? That
French immersion classes, if I heard that correctly.
they teach everything in French.
Ah, French immersion class means French immersion. Who would have thought? Yeah, that's great, and it makes sense because French is spoken in Canada, certain parts of Canada, to my understanding. I just think it's great to teach kids a second language, any language, hopefully one that's spoken a lot in your nation or around the world. So useful. So many other nations in the world learn English. And I feel like, man, they got all the power. They can understand me. I can't understand them. I'm really relying on them to be able to communicate with me, the simple American, only speaking English. I'm like, oh, dang it. I wish when I was a kid, someone had forced me to learn something, a different language. And they kind of try. In America, they do make you take a language for like half a year, maybe a year, when you're already, but it's when you're already 12, 13, 14, or 15 years old, pretty old, all things considered. If they were teaching you a new language when you were in first grade or, that young, I think kids are much better at learning that. So, yeah, just something I wish would have happened. So it's great that they have a French immersion classes in Canada. I like that a lot.
And they have English only like subject, like separate subject, like few times a week. And it's a great experience if you want your child to know French. And usually
Yeah.
they can start in grade 1. They don't
Ooh.
have a French immersion program in kindergarten.
Yeah, start it all the way in first grade. Yeah, that's amazing. That's great.
So kids will speak and learn everything in English, and it's a good enough for them to know and to keep this language. And in French immersion, I think it's a great idea for them to learn. And I know some
Yeah.
kids who speaks fluently French after French immersion school.
Really? I mean, it is amazing how fast children pick up things, especially when they're so young. I mean, they're learning all of English when they're in kindergarten, less, even sooner. So it stands to reason that that's probably, and I think they know this from studying the human brain, that children can develop language at a amazing rate when they are very young. So I'm all for it. I like it.
Why it's great? Because you know that Canada is bilingual, and we have 2 official languages. It's
They do this a little bit in some places in America, I think, with Spanish, because I think Spanish is the second most spoken language in the United States. So yeah, I wish I'd learned Spanish.
English and French, and all government position and a lot of position they require knowledge of, and not just knowledge. You have to speak French fluently,
Wow.
and it's a great benefit. First of all, when you go to
Yeah, it's just a benefit. It only opens more doors for you.
um, visit, let's say, Quebec or New Brunswick, and you can express yourself
Yeah.
in French, and of course to get a better position and get better paid in the future.
Yeah.
We have 2 types of public schools.
Make that money.
It's a regular public school.
hold
In
on.
types of
I was yelling about money and I missed what she said.
public schools and get better paid in the future. We have 2 types of public schools. It's a regular public school. In every area. And also we have Catholic schools, Catholic public schools.
Ah, huh. I wasn't sure where she was going with this. Two different types of public schools. But America has Catholic schools. We just call them that. We call them Catholic schools. But they really are Catholic public schools. Some of them are private schools where you have to pay if you want your child to go there. Huh. Yeah, this exists in America. Yeah.
They are free also, you don't have to pay. But sometimes they have
Some of these, sometimes in America, you do have to pay for these. They seem to be more often than not, some of them are private Catholic schools. Yeah. So you would have to pay, but others are public.
uniforms, so you have to buy uniforms usually.
Yeah, they usually have uniforms.
It's like once or twice a year. It depends on the age of child and how fast they are growing. And maybe sometimes you have to pay for some, I don't know, some little stuff. We don't have experience with Catholic schools, so there is no much we can explain about this.
I mean, the stereotype in the United States is that Catholic schools are extremely strict. they're very strict. And of course, incorporate teachings of Catholicism, religion. I think my mother went to a Catholic school back in the day where they'd make you write on the chalkboard for hours and maybe smack you with a ruler if you broke the rules. So luckily those days are gone.
Our kids go to regular public school, and we're very happy with that. And our youngest, she's almost 4. She'll be 4 in 2 weeks, and she's going to public school as well. The most interesting part that in your district could be few schools, like even few public schools, or one public school and one Catholic school, and it's up to you to find out this information before you send your kids. And you
Oh yeah, it's a huge decision. I mean, it's gonna affect school for children. It's what they're doing all day, every day. They're literally learning how to be a person. It could not be more important. It is so important. Which again, I'll bring it up again. You want to incentivize the teachers to do a fantastic job. Now in America, there's kind of people love teachers, and they basically, it's understood that they're doing the job for very little pay, and they're doing it because they love it. And they love the children, they love to teach, and they're very, very good people. But why wouldn't you incentivize the teachers to do even better and such an important job? We have a teacher shortage now because you should pay them more. We have like a massive teacher shortage now in America. It's pretty bad.
You can also check ratings of the school on website, and you can check all this information. It's available all the time. Also, we have private schools.
Yeah. I was wondering, anywhere in the world, people are going to want to make money off of kids, for lack of a better way to say it. So I'm sure there are private schools in Canada where sort of wealthier families can pay money to go to these fancy schools and put their kids, and nothing against them. You know, I phrase it like they're being snobs or something. But no, it's if they're in such a position where they can do that, that's perfectly fine.
Private schools, usually you have to pay some fees. Sometimes they are monthly fees, yearly fees, quarterly fees, it depending on the school, and they could be completely different.
Yeah, I've heard of American private schools where the parents have to pay $50,000 a year to send their child there. You know, that kind of level of crazy madness.
Can start at $500 a month, and sometimes they are like 30,000 a semester. So it could be completely different depending on the level of the school, on the services they provide, and we have very fancy schools. like St. Andrew's School. It's very famous school located in Aurora,
Okay.
between Aurora and Newmarket, and it's
I really can't think of any famous American private schools. I don't know, but then again, I've had no real reason to think about them or learn about them, so I don't know.
very very expensive school, and sometimes even if you have enough money to pay for this, they can refuse your application because you don't have enough connections, you don't have enough
Oh,
references.
yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of time these fancy private schools, they are built around connections and heck, even family donations and all sorts. It's starting to sound like some kind of TV show or something, but it's true. It's really how the world works a lot of the time.
but we don't have again much experience about this type of schools. So this is pretty much all. It's basic information about school system in Canada, and when you have to apply for to have your child to be placed in certain school.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, please just always you can always
Okay.
comment and send.
I think that's it. Very interesting. That was by Life in Canada. I liked that very much. That was fascinating. It actually wasn't exactly what I was expecting in terms of the information that I was going to get, but it was great. It gave me like a great idea of just a very generalized picture of the school system in Canada, the public school system. And now I know it's quite similar to the American public school system. Exactly the same, I'd say, almost exactly the same. But gosh, I never knew that, and now I'm just kind of wondering if I could get a more detailed kind of description or experience of the school system, like in the classroom, what kids are taught, how they're taught, just like the school experience. I just want to see, is the public school experience the same in Canada as America? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a video quite like that, but that would be super interesting to me. But for now, this answered a lot of the questions, the surface level questions I was having about just how stuff works and is organized with the school system. And it all was quite familiar to me. So I don't know. Sometimes with these videos, how stuff works in Canada kind of shocks me with how different it is, because I'm always expecting it to be pretty similar to America. And then finally, something like this, like the public school system, which I wouldn't have been surprised if it was completely different, ends up being quite similar. So you just never know what you're gonna get, man. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, Canadian culture, and events and stuff I've never seen, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.